Hey you guys, it's Tanea and I'm going to keep the intro pretty short, but I did want to share with you guys that I am approaching my 2.5-year anniversary utilizing the Lashify system. So of course there's just kind of like new things that I'm doing that I haven't covered in my previous video on Lashify. Most notably what I'm doing is I have a new way of cleaning my gossamers in addition to my natural lashes during extended wear. So that's what I'm going to share with you in this video. I'm also going to share with you guys the alphabet of the Lashify gossamers and their best uses and where to start off if you're very new to the system, because of course at this point I've tried them all. So if you're interested in all of that, stick around. Let's get started. So let me break down the Lashify gossamers for you real quick. So you have your core Lashify gossamers and then you have your intimate Lashify gossamers. And the main difference between both set of lash styles that you can find in each little category is that your core are your basics. These are the lashes that were available to you when Lashify was first on the scene. So when I started using the system, it was just your A's, B's, and C's to choose from. Later on, as the whole system and the lash styles evolved and grew, came the intimates. I don't exactly remember in which order certain lashes were released in the intimates. I have kind of like a rough idea, a memory of it. One thing I also wanted to mention, I believe some lash styles, their names have changed over the past few years. So I may be referring to a lash style by their former or old name, and if you identify that I've done that, feel free to correct me in the comments below. And yeah, let's get into it. So you have your A's. Your A stands for amplify. I describe this lash as like, if you want to keep it super, very natural, very basic, hardly noticeable to a passerby that you are wearing a lash, you want to just add a little bit of length or a little bit of volume in where there may be gaps in your own natural lashes, that you would want to do the A. You may also want to do an A for, let's say you have a young daughter or what have you who does competition dance or cheer, and lashes and makeup is a part of their whole wardrobe and getup. You might want to do an A, just because, you know, it's just enough for someone that young. You have your B's. I like to think of B's as a light coat of mascara. They are your A's, except which I would say appears most like a natural lash. A B appears like a natural lash that has a light coat of mascara. So if you like that look, you want something a little bit more defined, go with your B's. I also highly recommend B's as a starting point when trying out the system, because if you want something less noticeable from that point, you can go to an A, or if you want something a little bit more curled, you would want to go with the C. Your C is your next lash in the core family, and again, this is just like your more curled lash if you want like a more eye-opening effect to your eye, or if your own natural lash is just very curled naturally. Your intimates, you have your D's, your E's, your F's, your EE's, and now you have your Starburst. And I think that's everything now in the intimates. But your D stands for dramatic, and so think of this as 2 coats of mascara. It's a little bit more bolder, a little bit more noticeable than your B's. It's great if B's just wasn't bold enough for you, you will go with your dramatic. I feel like dramatic is also is the same in terms of amount of fibers that are in that lash, maybe a little less, if not the same as your B's, but it's definitely a lot more noticeable. I feel like the D's are great when you're mixing and matching lash styles and you're creating like a multi-dimensional look. D's are a great complement to a variety of lash styles. Now you have your E's. Your E's stands for extreme. I would still describe this as two coats of mascara type of look. But I think once you start going over into the E's, you bypass the whole natural lash type of look. This is more of an obvious, like, yeah, I have a pretty lash on, so what type of look. It stands for extreme. There are definitely a lot more fibers on these lash styles. So if you're someone who loves volume, love a little bit of boldness and dramatic, the E's would be for you. Then you have your extra extremes, which are like your E's, but a lot more fibers, packed with a lot more fibers. It still looks like that two coat of mascara, but the E's was inspired by the Russian lash look, which honestly, if you're someone who loves the Russian type of lash look, you'll look at the EEs and probably be like, okay, this is far less dramatic than the actual Russian eyes, which is like, it's super dramatic. However, this is your most voluminous lash style that you're going to currently find in the Lashify system. And you also have to keep in mind, with Lashify, you're able to stack your lash styles. So if any particular lash style is not dramatic enough for you, you can stack them to the point that they do become as voluminous, or however that you want it to look. I think you can stack up to 3 lash styles and get a decent amount of wear. I think anything more than that, you may really be compromising the longevity of it, but maybe that's not what your intended goal is. Maybe your goal is to have a lash style for the day at hand. So that's what your EEs are for. Sorry, my phone. Have your Fs. Your Fs stand for fluffy. If you love a wispy lash, this is the lash for you. The Fs is a very popular lash style. It's a popular amongst many. It was a popular of mine at one point. I still very much love them. I still very much call them like my top 3 of lash styles. If you like a wispy look, this is the lash that you will get. It's very multi-dimensional in the sense that you'll have a handful of fibers that may be a little bit more like thicker, but most of them are very lightweight and wispy, creating that very flirtatious, feminine type of look. It's a beautiful lash. Within the Fs, you also have your truffles. Your truffles are pretty much your Fs. They just come in different color varieties. Then you have your Starburst. Your Starburst is your latest release. And so this one was inspired by Cindy Crawford, or her makeup artist used to like to create a lash style or look for lashes that had this kind of like a pinched tip look. And I believe makeup artist Wayne Goss also called out and really recommended that Lashify come out with a lash like this, and they did. So if you've watched one of my older videos, I actually showed you how to create a pinched tip look utilizing some of the bonds and tools within the Lashify system. You no longer have to do that because there is a lash available that does just that. It reminds me kind of like a crown like design. If you like this particular type of lash, you would definitely like the Starburst. I'm actually wearing quite a few within my current lash map. Let me share with you actually what my top 3 lash styles are these days and what I do to make it work for me. So if you've watched one of my old videos, I say that I really love the Fs. I can't do the E's or even the EEs because they're too extreme for me. They weigh down my eye. However, you would be surprised to know that those are actually my top 2 favorite lashes these days, in the sense that I figured out how to make it work for me. So in general, you can apply the Gossamers as they are onto your eye with no issues. However, particular lash styles and lash maps are too heavy for my eye, and so they don't work. However, watching a Lashify educator applying her EEs once, I absolutely fell in love with the lash map, and I was like, it looks amazing on her. If it could look like that on me, it would be gravy. What I found out what she did was she actually cut the Gossipers into halves or thirds within the EEs to create a dramatic, eye-grabbing, defined look, however one that's not too heavy on the eye and that is not weighing your eye down. I personally am fine with my natural eye shape, so any lash style or anything that I do to my eye makeup, I want it to accentuate my natural eye shape. However, if I use a gossamer like an E or an EE, that's a dramatic dense type of lash, if I utilize that hole onto my lash, it will create kind of like a squared off effect. It's no longer rounded, it's kind of squared off, and it's like cutting off a bit of my iris. I don't like that. It's too heavy for me. It's dragging my eye down. So oftentimes when I'm creating lash maps or lash styles, I'm cutting them up in half so that it's more bearable for my eye. It fits my eye shape a lot better. Also, I always have like the longest lash length in the center of my eyes to kind of bring that up. And then I kind of gradually go down in size as I reach the sides of my eyes to kind of follow its natural lash line. Sometimes I just kind of wear the same length all the way across, and I think that's what I'm doing now today. I have the 18s on, and I actually like it. I was actually really scared to try the 18s because I thought it would be too long. I was a 16s type of girl. But one thing to keep in mind, in addition to when choosing your length, if you know that you have a lot of eyelid space to your eyebrow, you can do long lash lengths without it being too much or overly dramatic. If you have more of like a lash that sits low, or you don't have that much eyelid space between your eyebrow and your eyes, then you want to stick with lengths that are like the size 14 or below. You don't want to go too long because it may be too much. I'm now going to go ahead and show you guys how I am now cleaning my lashes during extended wear. And yeah, I'm using this stuff, and I'm so sorry because clearly this has been used because you no longer see the brand name, but this is Stacy Lash shampoo, lash extension shampoo. So this is a foam wash, and I'll show you what that looks like. This is a foam wash, and you will apply this using what I like to use, these Q-tips. You can get this from Target. I always like double stock up on these whenever I see them in the store because they sell out really fast, but they're amazing. So what I do actually is I will apply the foam onto this Q-tip right here, which provides enough good coverage on removing your eyelid makeup, like a good majority of it. If I have to get really close to my lash line, then this is where the precision tip is your best friend. It works amazing. The foam like traps all of the makeup and the dirt, pulls it, and you just wipe it off, and that's it. You don't have to use water or anything. You just sweep it off. This will not disturb the longevity of the bond either. So it's perfect. It's great. There's other brands out there. You don't have to feel like you have to get the Stacy Lash one, but this one doesn't burn, and I've read in reviews that other brands, they can sometimes burn, but this one doesn't. I think too though, if you like let the foam sit there and then it starts disintegrating and kind of pouring down into your eye, it's gonna hurt because you're gonna have makeup and all of that in your eye. So really just work fast with this and you shouldn't have any issues. It's great. Because it not only gets your gossamers, it gets your natural lashes as well. If you don't wear eye makeup, but you are wearing your Lashify gossamers for like maybe a week at a time, use this every 2 to 3 days and you should be good. I use this every time I wear eye makeup, which is quite often. So yeah. Anyways, you guys, I hope all the tips and tricks that I've shared in this video is helpful for you. If you want to know what other things that I'm doing now differently than I have been doing in the past, I would be so happy to share with you guys what I'm now doing. Everything that I shared in my other videos are still tried and true. I'm just doing newer things that work better for me, and all of that other stuff. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. I am about to sign off. Until next time.